Alright, so in this one we are going to be doing my top 10 list for the first part of the Dragon Ball Legends 5th anniversary. And I'll be honest, we got a lot to talk about. I think a lot of stuff has actually changed from the last time you've seen a top 10 list from anybody. So I actually do think this is a very crucial one for the impact Goku, Frieza, Jiren, and all these others have made for the units on top, the units on bottom. I think we just get into it. By the way, let me just mention this real quick. I do have a Discord server for those wondering. Feel free to join. It's in the description. If you want to get QR codes or just join it to join it, feel free. It's there. No more introduction. Let's begin. We begin from the bottom to the top. I will say every unit on this list will be meant to be on this list, whether it be in the top 10 or honorable mentions. You'll see by the end of the video, and I will say the bottom and the top of the list are definitely something interesting, and I will validate my points to what I believe, and obviously it's just my opinion, so if you disagree, great. If you don't disagree, great. It's just an opinion at the end of the day, but it is my opinion as someone who plays the game a lot, especially the last couple of days because of anniversary, uploading 3 videos a day. It's just my opinion, right? So feel free to comment your opinion, your thoughts on my opinion, yada, 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 make it a discussion. And let us begin. So, we go from bottom to top, as I said, we begin. I think the 4s are number 10, and usually the bottom is actually harder than the top, and I think this 8 through 10 slot, I think every unit 8 through 10, every singular unit that's going to be in honorable mention, or 8 through 10, can all be swapped. Do I think it's hard to swap them? Yes, because I had them in a certain spot, because I had them there for a reason, and I'll explain the reasons. But I think everyone 8 through 10, that is also honorable mentions by the end of this video, can all be swapped 8 through 10. That's how close it is at the bottom of the list here, just to mention. The 4s, I think they actually got a little bit of a buff because you run Goku, Frieza, the 4s, and then Pan. Well, that's not GT anymore, and they're infamous for being on GT. You would run a Sun Family setup, and then the synergy and the harmony, I guess you'd call it, of the 4s with Goku, Frieza. Well, you had the lower sub count by 10 when the 4s get rushed. You go into Goku, Frieza, they don't have cover null. Maybe they screwed up. Maybe they just ran out of cover null. You get that rush completely stopped. You have Pan for support there, and while the 4s, you know, their generalized best team would be GT. GT doesn't do enough. You can't stop Hit. You can't stop Jiren. You can't stop Kid Buu. You can't stop a lot of units with just GT. So you gotta try to run a different thing where you have Goku, Frieza there, and then the 4s. I know the synergy could be a little wonky. Some matches, some good matches for them on the synergy, but in overall sense, they have not been impacted as heavily. If nothing else, they've gotten technically a buff because Sun Family has gotten better, and they are running on Sun Family, right? Again, it's not the cleanest situation for them. They definitely could have been better if GT got any buff in any sequency, of any recency, of anything the last 6 months, but they haven't. To say they're even still up here goes to show that tag units can age well, and that's, I think, the best point we can make, right? Number 9. Now, number 9 is an interesting one. I know people will not agree with this, but I still think it from when I thought it last time. And I think it now. The last time I thought this was when I used this guy for a stream for 4 hours. It was prior to anniversary. It was, last season, actually. It was the last few days of the season, probably like 2 or 3 days left. And I used this RUI Goku for 4 hours straight. And I said, he's top 10 still. I think I sell him like 7 or 8 because we didn't have these 2 new units. So 7 or 8 may make sense because these 2 units are going to be in the top 10. He went down 2 spots. Makes sense to me. But RUI Goku actually got better. He got a buff. He obviously got a little worse because these new units became, as good as they are, but he got a little bit of a buff. There is 2 type of Unireps teams you could build right now. I think that's pretty obvious, right? You build a range-based and a strike-based. I said this would happen because they did the same exact thing for Future. They did VT, here's your range team, Rose, here's your strike team. All right, you 2 live in different situations. One's going to be better than the other, right? That exists right now, and that's why UI's down here because he's not on the better team, but his team is still very good. Similar to VT, their team was worse than Rose's, but it was still a very good team. RUI's team is Jiren, green-yellow, perfect synergy. How do you deal with the purples? You get a good yellow. Jiren came out. Jiren can run on any team. Jiren is Zamasu. He's the modern-day Zamasu. I know Zamasu's still modern, but modern-day Zamasu is what Jiren is. He can run a strike-based team, blast-based team. He doesn't care. Then you run LF17. So LF17, RUI, Jiren. One, that team is very hard to rush, right? All of USS, Unireps even, is all very hard to rush. How are you going to rush Goku Frieza? How are you going to rush Goku Frieza with Jiren? How are you going to rush Hit with them all? Because you just get time to get the murder, and he can destroy your Dragon Ball as well when he gets a kill. It's kind of hard to rush Unireps right now. But Blast Unireps is very much a harder spot to rush because you got Revival, you got LS17 who's impossible to rush, and you got Jiren who can just bulk sometimes through rushes. I've had Jiren live a rush from LS17, and LS17, if you don't know, gets 70% damage inflicted on rush. Not sure if I canceled the attribute upgrades, I might have used it already, I might have not, but Jiren lived the rush and it wasn't even full HP from LS17, and that's all I know. If Jiren could do that, clearly his potential is going to be very high, and we'll talk about him later. But Rev UI, he's a very good unit. Definitely is a unit we all slandered. I know we all slandered him. Now, I know people will still slander him, but for what he does and what his value is, running with Jiren is perfect synergy. You have decent damage from Jiren. Jiren does do damage, right? Rev UI definitely does do very well on damage. I think that's the best thing people actually will point out about him. They will point out all the flaws, right? But actual good things, you'll say, his damage is never bad. It's actually pretty goddamn good. All that cover and all as well. He could definitely have some impact. It's not as high as you'd want it to be for a very new LF, but to compare him, I mean, look at the Boo duo. At least he has more impact than them, right? His team's at least a lot better. So Rev UI, while he's not in the most favorable position for himself, he definitely is in a better position than units that came around his time frame. So that's a W for him at least, and move forward, because where the hell is Roshi? Bro's even honorable mentions, and it's kind of sad. But we'll talk about the yellow Unireps unit in a while. We are not close. But now, numbers 8 through 1, I think are all a more concise situation for ourselves here. I am trying to remember who I had at 8. Wait, who'd I have at 8? Oh no, who I have 8? Wait, let me think about this. So we have you number 1, you number 2, you number 3, you number 4, you number 5, you number 6, you number 7. Oh, number 8. I got number 8. I just figured it out. It is LF17. Now, I think LF17 is in a very finite positioning. I actually think he obviously got a buff because, again, blue-yellow, you have Jiren there. So if Jiren needs coverage against any reds, you got 17 right there to back him up. Hit does exist. Obviously, he'll be a lot more prominent in the coming days because his banner does return tonight. And if I were to advise summoning or not, everyone's saying UVB is going to be red, Ultra Vegeta Blue is going to be red. I don't know. Listen, I don't got the know. I guess everyone else has the know and tell information. I don't know anything. That's all I'm hearing. I don't know. I think it would be valuable right now to summon for hit. If you go for hit, good luck. But nonetheless, he has coverage against hit, right? Rather, he is the coverage against hit. Obviously, Unireps is a very good team. Even Androids, Red 21, LF17, and then you run, whether it be GT17, which I know is struggling now because there's 2 very good yellows running around with Jiren and Kid Buu. But you have a situation where you have at least a decent Androids build. You have, I mean, you could just cope somebody at leader slot. You could run, I mean, Rev UI even. Like, it doesn't matter. You can just leader slot some non-Androids character on Androids there and just kind of work out, right? With either Unireps bench or Androids bench. It doesn't matter. But you have decent builds with him. Obviously, his gauge is going to be effective because no one's really insta-nuking you, right? You're going to get that gauge a lot of times more than not. There's definitely going to be sequences where you just get rushed instantly, you got some bullshit happening. I've done it against people, I've had it done to me, and it's just like, alright, well, that fucking sucks, but you can eventually go neutral. There is a green right here in Ultra Rose that is a problem, so you do have to deal with him. There's only, though, one real problematic green, because the other ones below him clearly are not that bad. And on top of, you can just run him on a strike-based team. He doesn't really flow the greatest because his cardinal speed stacks on blast-based team, but if you run on a strike-based team, if you run LF17, Goku Frieza, being, yes, blue at some points, but purple as well to be that savior against Rose there, and you run Jiren, that's a very hard team to kill. Again, you can run Unireps blast-based team with Rev UI, like I mentioned before. The 17's definitely in a better predicament than he's been in the past. You know, when Rose first dropped and there was no real coverage for him, he was just like, I left Jiren try to cope for me, or GT17, you know, that's not Unireps though, so he just fell down because GT17 just simply wasn't good enough to deal with Rose individually. Yes, he could sometimes snipe him out, but it wasn't good enough to, like, I can beat him every single time. Now you have Goku Frieza. Goku Frieza could, like, do everything against Rose right now, especially, obviously, the Goku variation, who stacks a lot of damage inflicted very fast and can do all his work. And I think 17 has gained some value. Again, this is a Unireps buff, so you're going to see a lot of Unireps units move up. And I think that's just the simplest way to explain it. LS17 has his value moved up. That's how it works. Now, we get to interesting territory. We're not at the very interesting yet. Don't worry. This whole list is interesting because, again, the shift that things have happened here is wild, in my opinion. But number 7. Do you guys know? Do you guys know? It's gonna count real quick. 1, while you think about it, if you know. 1, 2, 3. Where am I looking? I forgot. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Did you guys figure it out yet while I was counting here? Yeah? Alright, number 7 is Beast Gohan. Now, I know pitchforks are out. He's the best LF in the game! Stop it! Let's take a sip of hot chocolate here real quick before we get into this. Alright. So Beast Gohan. Why is he number 7? What happened? Where did he go? What are you doing? What are you saying to me here? Let me speak. Alright, got you. So Beast Gohan's best team is movies, right? We can agree with that. We're not going to run him on hybrids because you don't really have a third there. Puddle, not really working. 1v3 team, it's, not gimmicky, but it's finicky. Could you lose a lot more than you win with the 1v3 team? Yes, you get Beast sniped out. Oh well, woe is me, I lose. So they run movies. Beast Pan Puddle, or Beast Pan UGB, rather. And then from there, probably, Sun Family could run Pan, Forku, Beast, but we'll talk about movies because that's just the more run team. That's the team you're going to see him on. That's the team you're referring to when you're thinking about him, right? That's just your subconscious screaming at you. Movies. That's what's happening. What's going on here? Movies cannot help you as much as it could. So let me just point this out. And this will affect the next placement after this because these two units run on the same team. How do you deal with a yellow on movies? When you're running movies, how do you deal with yellow? How do I deal with Jiren or Kid Buu? Answer, doesn't really exist. Alright, well, that kind of hurts UGB a little bit. And UGB is going to protect Beast, right? Because he's purple, Beast is blue, so you gotta have yellows to beat that purple. Then I could beat that unit with a green. The thing is, UGB isn't protected. So you have UGB getting murdered by Kid Buu and Jiren, and then in a situation of that makes it to where Beast now gets freely murdered by any green in the game. Because from there, your UGB's dead. Your Pan can't do enough. She cannot stop a Jiren or Kid Buu. They are just too defensive, too bulky. She's too much of a only support type. You just can't do it. So Beast inherently loses value, not even because himself right now. Because you look at the greens, they're below. And you only know one green's moving up. It's going to be Rose. Obviously, he's an Ultra. He's going to be up there. Don't mind him. But the problem is, the team doesn't have enough of the other two to do enough for you. Your UGB will get murdered by a yellow. Your Pan cannot stop that murdering. Sure, you have situations where your Beast could kill the Jiren or Kid Buu. I'm sure that'll happen. That's realistic. That's probable. If you play better, you'll kill them. But it's so much harder to kill a Kid Buu or a Jiren than a UGB when you're Beast. You're type neutral. When my Jiren or Kid Buu is trying to kill your UGB and I can lock him in with Kid Buu, I can get a counter attack and I have the sub counts for where you can't swap out. I could do a Jiren 3 strikes or 2 strikes and murder UGB. You're just kind of screwed at some points. It's a lot harder for Beast to kill these units that beat UGB, and in turn, that lowers Beast's value because then he's not safe. Then this RUI, this Force, this Rose, this anybody can just beat his ass. Now, he can easily beat their ass, he can go neutral a lot, but again, it comes down to the team of him is not as safe as it once was. Everything above Beast and even on Beast is a team that's meant to be very, I can hold my own against anything in the entire world. Beast's team starts to lack in that foundation because Pan cannot do enough. UGB struggles. You will lose Beast or UGB, one of the two, before that 60 counts of UGB being able to kill anything in one combo, and if he pops a green card, he's neutral. Oh my god. Run for the fucking heavens, run for the hills, right? You cannot have a situation, mostly, at least from my experience, where Beast or UGB will not already be dead. If not Pan and somebody else is very low, because that's 60 counts. You are attacking for 60 counts straight. Motherfuckers are getting hurt. It's how the game works. I think Beast falls down simply because he is worse than UGB, but it's only because of his team lacking the unit's necessity, I guess you could call it, to kill these others that are, hurting his allies. He's not falling down because of his own stuff. He's fine. but his team is just a lackluster spot of where it used to be. Now number 6. Number 6 is Ultra Gogeta Blue. Now I mentioned it just now that the situation has become dire. UGB is stuck. It is like, it's a rock and a hard place. Let's say there's 2 mountains, Mountain 1, Mountain 2. UGB is the rock right here between the 2 mountains. He's getting squished in. The 2 mountains being Kid Buu and Jiren. And it's not like these units are very hard to run to. I will say, though, Kid Buu is more rare than not, considering, you know, Jiren just exists as a 1% unit. People just have him more, so they're going to run him. But Jiren, you can't avoid running into a Jiren right now. It's just not a plausibility. Again, UGB's best team. There's 2. I'll point this out. There's 2 best teams for UGB. There's the Pan UGB, Pan UGB and Rose, Double Ultra with Pan, and then the Movies team. I already touched on the Movies team, so let me touch on the Double Ultra team. From there, you have the same exact problem. It's honestly a little bit more amplified because Rose can't neutral as easily as Beast, right? Your situation is even more amplified of, I'm going to die so easily at some points because Pan cannot cover. And then, yes, while you have good damage in Rose, same thing as Beast, they're both doing their ideal setting of output, output, output. You can't bulk through this. It's even kind of worse in some settings for the Rose setup with UGB and Pan, because you have Goku Frieza that are running with this unit of Jiren, or you have Kid Buu running with this unit of, I mean, to be honest, it doesn't even matter. Let's say I run a hit with Kid Buu. I could just get a situation, I time skip, I kill Rose, time skip's not hard to land, you just get one combo, you have time skip ready, 140 counts, bada bing, bada boom. Alright, from there, you're set. You killed Rose. Now, how do I have a situation where you're going to kill my Kid Buu or Jiren with your UGB and Pan? Especially Kid Buu. How is UGB going to kill Kid Buu in that spot? How is Pan going to kill Kid Buu in that spot? And usually you run Blue Zamasu in that team, right? How do they end up winning that match? You can't. If you get out that 3rd unit, whether it be Beast or Rose, you physically cannot do anything. UGB is stuck in limbo. Again, not because himself. I need to specify this because it's an Ultra. He's not top 5. What the fuck's happening here? I need to specify this because UGB is perfect. He's him. He does his job. But he is in the spot of, similar to GT, they need a buff to their team. They have not gotten a buff since Beast and Pan dropped, right? UGB, Beast, Pan, they all dropped the big bada boom celebrations, you know, back-to-back months, whatever the hell happened with their time frames. They all dropped within months of each other. And then from there, they've gotten nothing. It's the same exact thing as GT. GT has now become Sun Family, where you run Goku Frieza, Pan, and then the 4s. GT is just kind of washed. Movies isn't in that same spot, but it's in the dilemma of becoming there, and that has lowered both UGB and Beast value because of that. Again, I need to specify this one more time. The individual units kits for UGB and Beast are perfectly fine. They have not been touched. They are not getting power crept, nothing along those lines. But there are now 2 prominent yellows. There is no red on their best teams of Beast and UGB to deal with those prominent yellows, and it ends up screwing over UGB more, but UGB is better than Beast as an individual unit, so UGB is a little bit higher. But Beast ends up getting screwed over because he can't get protected by UGB anymore, because UGB can't get protected by Pan, and he never could. That wasn't a problem, but now we have 2 very good yellows. You can't ignore the evidence of these 2 are strong as fuck. I can't do anything about it. I'm just fucking UGB. What do you want me to do? Beat their ass? He's a purple. He has a flaw. Doesn't go neutral instantaneously. That's a flaw of him. It's not a big one, but it's a flaw. So from there, you have to accept the fate of, well, shucks. What do I do now? And that's kind of where he's at. He's in limbo. Once they get a red, perfectly fine. Once he gets a red that could go on his team that actually does damage, and Pan kind of just like moseys on over to like somewhere else, or just stays on hybrids, whatever it is, then he'll be better off. But right now, he's not in that better off state. He is in that hurting state. Not to say he's bad, he's just hurting. I just want to preface this because I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but I'm just explaining my viewpoint of running these units. How I've noticed how these other units have taken quite a dip. Now, number 5. Number 5, I think, is actually something that's not contestable. I think number 5 and number 4 are both units that cannot be swapped. I used to think they could be swapped. I used to think they were even equivalent, no differential. But after using the teams and everything I've done, it has come clear to me now that Jiren is number 5. Now, Jiren, as I've mentioned, is very much eating in the current meta. Yes, Hit does exist, but to be fair, you are running him with Hit, so he's on the same team as Hit, and you're running him with Goku Frieza, who obviously can't be blue, so they can't deal with Hit. His struggles are not as prominent as, honestly, anybody's here. The only reason he is 5 is because everything above him is just so much individually better, and their teams still are very good. Well, their teams could be a little bit better. They're just so individually better than Jiren as their output or their amazing amount of utility is just the situation to be in. It's not to say he's bad because he's 5. Everyone that's in top 10 is very good. More the 8 through, 1 spot, but like everyone in top 10 is very good. Everyone in the whole entire list here, this whole entire area I'm looking at is very good. But Jiren, obviously his destruction of a Dragon Ball, his utility he can offer, his counterattack, similar to Zamasu's counterattack, he does have the avoidance of AoE greens, even if you're mid-combo or you're mid-attack. Like, you're literally punching the fucking air, you're gonna get, PV into AoE green, he just says, he brings you the fuck back. He's like, alright, you're one free pass, now do something with it. He pops off, he does great damage, he's a very good bulky unit, he cancels attribute upgrades and buff effects one time each on cover change per transformation. So even more so than that, with UGB and Beast running on movies, you have Pan getting screwed over because her main asset is getting support, getting support, getting support. So I cover change into Jiren, boom, it's all gone. Twice. One pre, one post. That has to be a negative to the units that are below him right here at 6 and 7. Jiren clearly is a god. He is one of those units that can leader slot on any team and just do his job, especially because his equips just want basic stuff like have a range type. Okay, have a range type. Have a melee base. Okay, have a melee base. Okay, if I want pure defenses, okay, just run Ralph Universe character. Oh wait, bro is one. Exactly my point. He has everything he needs in his own sense. Jiren is a very good unit, very strong, and does his job to a T of perfection. It actually is quite scary how good Jiren is compared to Zamasu on release, because Zamasu was not doing the output and did not have the same team as Jiren. Jiren's team and output is eclipsing Zamasu in every sense of the word. Reminder, we were terrified of Zamasu. Everyone was. Jiren is a better Zamasu. Straight up point blank period. And that's fucking crazy, because yes, Zamasu's not in the top 10. And that's for a reason, which we'll touch on in the future of this video. Not too much detail because it's a bottom, but we'll touch on. Now, number 4. Number 4 has come to me as Goku Frieza. Now, I'm going to say this because I know people are going to say it right now. Oh my god, they're squishy. I'm going to put it up right here at the 23-minute mark, specifically for you guys, the stat spread of Goku Frieza and then of Kid Buu. Somewhere on the screen, it's happening right now. Enjoy it. Both are not arts boosted in the defenses of stats at all. They're both at 1 out of 99, and you can see their stat spread being equivalent. Even more so than that, if you think Kid Buu is bulky or durable, then you must think Goku Frieza is also durable, right? Because they have the same stat spread, same cut. The only difference is Kid Buu gets some damage reduction on top of that with Gauge, but his Gauge is not as common as you like to make it seem, right? His Gauge takes quite a bit of time to get. On top of that, you also have healing 2% per card done with Goku Frieza. On top of they have an HP restore bench. On top of they have an HP bench. On top of that, which is a Zenkai buff, Goku Frieza, just have to say it now, are not squishy. You see the stat spreads, they were just up. You just heard what I just said about it. If you think they're squishy, you think Kid Buu's squishy. And Kid Buu's also not squishy. So the logic is unfounded. On top of, their Zenkai buffs are a lot better than Kid Buu's. Kid Buu's is like LF Piccolo and then DKP. The fuck is that doing for me, right? Barely giving me anything I actually want, because you're going to run on a strike-based team, most likely. Nonetheless, we continue. Goku Frieza clearly are a force to be reckoned with. The Goku side gets a lot of slander, but think about it for a second. Goku side, I believe, gets to, 230%? After a couple cards done. He stacks damage inflicted, Striker Blast, overall damage inflicted 15%, I believe, for 15 timer counts. The premise of the Goku side is to ramp up to where the Frieza side comes in, has a lot of damage inflicted, because Goku side did a lot of cards, did maybe not even a lot, 2 or 3 cards. Then you go to Frieza side, you got cover and all now, and then, let's say, a hit comes in, or anything type neutral, you do a lot of damage, because you had all that ramp up from Goku. So Goku and Frieza actually have cohesiveness together, unlike the Buu duo, they don't really have much cohesiveness, or VT, they have some, but not too much, right? Just carrying over cover and over 2 timer counts on their blast. Goku Frieza have very good cohesiveness. Now, Goku is worse at a mid-range, you know, oh, can I blast armor this setting? Because he doesn't have blast armor, and his green card is, I wouldn't say subpar, but it's definitely not the best thing you want. You know, dashboard green card, while it could be effective at some points, a stop time green card is just simply better. Not to say Goku's is bad, because upping sub count is fucking cracked, and you can get a rush off that, you get very good plays off that, but Frieza being a stop time is just simply better. Frieza has more in his kit for a midder game setting than Goku, but Goku is what's making Frieza do all that damage. You get the point of it? So Goku is a very good individual unit. You have a million Zenkai buffs, Namek Goku, Chilled as the best two. You have LF First Form Frieza, who's a double attack one as well. Very good Zenkai buffs that actually can be decent. I actually seen a lot of First Form Frieza being run recently because of his blue card holding, of his support, of his durability he can actually still have to this day. It's kind of interesting to notice that he's actually being run. But Goku, Frieza, they do their job on output. They run on Unireps. They're run with Jiren. They're run with Hit. They're run with these god tier units. And I think the premise of them was a little bit spooky. And on top of one more thing about them that I think is also underappreciated is their gauge. This unit's not squishy. We've gone over that. So if this unit's not squishy and they can heal per card done, they heal on tag out. I think mine personally heals 600k on that best team in the game video I made, because that is their best team in the game currently. About 150k on Striker Blast, or any card I guess clicked. They're not squishy. Then they also have a gauge that lasts for 80 counts. Up till 100 counts, you have that gauge. You cannot get rushed. You have Hit, again, who can destroy Dragon Ball if he has a kill. I believe 2 times, right? If not once. Jiren can destroy Dragon Ball in Transformation. You have Jiren who's bulky. You have Jiren who can lower his sub count for himself. You have Goku Frieza, who obviously can still bulk. The premise would be that you let Frieza pop off on output, and then you let Goku take some hits. So you could tag out back into Frieza, did some cards, okay, tag out to Frieza, do your damage again. You ramped up, you kept going and going and going and going. You get Vanish back with Frieza there as well. You can get a lot of things going for Goku and Frieza here. That's very nice. Them obviously not being a reverse element factor, but one purple, one blue, actually gives a lot more diversity to them on a team setting, on just the setting of what they can do in each specific spot. I think there's a lot of things they can do. I think they're a very good unit, and I think their potential is pretty insane, especially because they have so much more Zenkai buffs than these other tag units. They have, like, I genuinely think it's like 10. If not close to 10, they have like 10. You're not running all 10. You're running like 1 or 2. But the fact that you can always run a Zenkai buff on like majority of the tags that they're on, or force it and maybe miss something here, but like you can replace it with like a Z ability or a equipment, because equipments are very high percentages nowadays. It gives a lot of diversity to them. Their value is very, very high, and it's kind of shocking that they've made it here to where Jiren and Goku Frieza, in my opinion, are above Ultra Gogeta Blue. I won't say better, because they're not better, but the team gap is definitely there, where you are just completely safe with Unireps in comparison to Movies. Again, Movies just struggles with, how the fuck do I kill a yellow, pal? I really can't. Can get some spots, but genuinely, consistently, there's no basis for it. Goku Frieza's team of Unireps, that shit's consistent as hell. Now, number 3, we're back to the Ultra Show. I think it's pretty obvious, right? Number 3, I do think, is Kid Buu. While his presence has gone down quite a bit, I'm not really sure why. Again, it could be because Jiren is at 1% and just yellow, and people have him higher stars because he's 1%, yada, yada, yada. He's still very good. The value of just being able to infinite combo, he can heal very much so. He stacked his blue card damage, his ult damage when he's doing these cards, so he has stacking Cup Pen as well. He's going to be at like 67% Cup Pen in some combos when he has his gauge popped. Rather, he has his gauge full because he's stacking Cup Pen, I believe, 10% for 10 timer counts each, so you could just card. That's 40%. Okay, I sidestep. I draw 2 cards, maybe off a charge step. 60%. Boom, I do my ultimate. I stacked ultimate damage right there. I'm going to nuke the shit out of you with an AoE fucking ultimate. Gonna beat your ass. That lock and blue card on gauge. He gets Vanish back twice on his blue card being done. He gets a fucking blue card from his green card when he has situation for it. Kid Buu is definitely still him. PO setup with Kid Buu. I mean, truly, you could just run Kid Buu, Rose, and Zamasu, or any leader slot third at that rate if you can kind of make the ultra abilities work. You're gonna cook. Kid Buu's still him. He's still very good. While he is maybe a little bit worse individually than the other 2 ultras above him, he's still a very good unit. His value is definitely still existent. While Hit does exist, you kind of just have to deal with that. Everyone's going to have a counter to them that exists as part of the game. They've done that with all these ultras. X is meant to counter Y. Okay, Y is going to counter Z. Z is going to counter A. Blah, 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 blah. Kid Buu is countering UGB. Jiren's countering UGB. Not fully, but like they stop them in their tracks. Kid Buu gets stopped in his tracks by Hit. UGB stops Rose in his tracks, but yet Rose is going to be up here, right? It's just the teams around them, if that really fully works out all the time. It doesn't. Look at UGB. He's clearly not working out that great. Now, number 2 is going to be Ultra Rose. Ultra Rose still has his value, whether it be future, whether it be a setup with that, double Ultra thing, whether it be Kid Buu on it, or UGB, or Hit, or whatever the fuck you want to do. Rose still does his job very well of doing all his output, and his damage has not fallen down in any regard. We'll say he's a little bit more scared because of Goku Frieza existing, simply because Goku can one-shot him, but it's the same vibe where, okay, Beast could probably, in some settings, one-shot Ultra Rose. Well, Ultra Rose can more easily one-shot Beast. But then, Goku could easily one-shot Rose. But then, Rose could easily one-shot Frieza. It's always if or and setting there for these units that are able to go type neutral, and then they are already advantaged prior to or afterwards of the fact. But Rose has his team still has Cell, who's a very good unit. He's not going to be up in this top 10, but I believe he is on the list here, yeah. Still has very good units around him, still does his job correctly and his output settings, and if you were to run Ultra Rose and Ultra Hit, you leader slot Ultra Hit, have Ultra Rose, have all that future bench, bada bing, bada boom, very good HP bench there. You have Red Rose that can Zenkai buff Hit. You got everything kind of thriving at that point. You got no issues, right? Just run them together, you kind of win. Simply how it works. Though, it's a little spooky, but you can also run Jiren on that setup as well. Red, green, yellow. Kind of stop out the Goku Frieza, can stop out Hit, can stop out Beast, whoever else you got to stop out. Very good team. And then number 1, I do think is Ultra Hit. I thought this for a good minute, even since Rose dropped, I thought Ultra Hit was number 1, but the glazing that Hit has gotten from the, system of better equips now, from the system of he even got a good green on his team that could be run with Kai Wei. Not going to say that's a reason why he's number 1, but that's just an amplification he got. You have now a blue-purple, the same thing as basically 2 units being a blue or purple. You have now 1 blue or purple unit as his coverage here. You have Jiren being as strong as he is, Hit having the time skip, basically guaranteeing you a free kill, his output being as high as it is, and then him not really running scared anymore. I mean, he doesn't have to be that scared of Beast. Again, I've mentioned this, because if Jiren is stopping UGB, you really don't have to worry about Beast murdering your Hit. Yes, it could happen, that'll suck, but what if I were just to go to Hit, murder UGB with the time skip, and then now it's Beast and Pan. I get 1 catch, I do a rush with, let's say, Goku Frieza, I drop into a blue, bada bing, bada boom, or I just go to Goku Frieza because I hit very hard. Then from there, Beast is dead. Alright, I win the match. See how simplistic it becomes? With UGB and Beast, it just becomes a lot harder. Ultra Hit, his value is truly immense. I'm surprised they genuinely did this to where Hit just got buffs on buffs on buffs on buffs, and he is in the best position he could ever be. I think he can only go down from here. I do not think Hit by the end of the anniversary will probably be number 1, but for now, with the Unireps buff happening, it's kind of hard to say that the Unireps Ultra would not be number 1, right? RIP Ultra Blue Kaioken, because he's also getting reps, but we don't talk about that guy. Hit has been unleashed, essentially. His potential is far surpassing anything it's ever been, and happy for the guy. Happy for him, because he was very slandered, and now I think it's pretty undisputable to say Hit's number 1. I just think the team is too perfect for him at this rate. But that is my top 10. To mention the honorable mentions and fix their order here, I would say, because I'll put them in order, right? This is what, 15 units? Okay, 11 to 15, sure. Let's say that this is actually tough to order, because this is why I had them here. I didn't really know who to put where at some points, but I figured it out eventually. I want to put Kai Wei at number 11. I want to put Cell at number 12. I do want to put Zamasu at number 13 and Evo at number 14. This is obviously more a team situation here, where it is Kai Wei is a very good green on Unireps. Well, I think Rev UI is very good on the Blast-based variant. Kai Wei is very good on the Strike-based variant. You don't need her, but she's a sub option, right? That's why she's in honorable mentions and not in top 10 over Rev UI. Cell still has very good value. It's just other units are simply in a better positioning than him right now. Zamasu, he has definitely taken a fall. His utility and his defensiveness, all he really does is key reduction at this rate. He key reduces, he team heals. That's all he really does. I know it sounds like a lot, but he's supposed to be the bulky guy, can do okay output. He does no output. He's not really that bulky right now. it's kind of sad. Damage numbers are through the fucking roof. Evo being a sub option here, obviously for Jiren, definitely not a bad unit, but just underwhelming compared to Jiren, right? Or Jiren is overwhelming, as you could call it. And then Forku, the positioning of GT is just not it. If you're going to try to run him on Sun Family, I think it's kind of silly. There's no necessity to run him on Sun Family. He's not going to make this ultimate comeback. Again, you could just have Jiren cancel those attribute upgrades, buff effects if he's going to do that ultimate. Jiren does that in the cover change, so you just save that cover change for that setting. He'll do no damage on that ultimate because it can be canceled some of his damage inflicted buffs. So he's not in the greatest setting. It sucks for him. He's not a bad unit just because he's down here. Everybody in the top 15, I do think is a very good unit. It's just some are better in certain metas than others. And I think the certain meta right now is definitely a focus toward uni reps. Obviously, the 2 ultras there being on that PO setup is also very good as well with Rose and Kid Buu. Obviously, Hit can run there, but his main thing is going to be uni reps for now. And yeah, that's my top 10. Number 1, Hit. Number 2, Rose. Number 3, Kid Buu. Number 4, Goku Frieza. Number 5, Jiren. Number 6, Ultra Gogeta Blue. Number 7, Beast Gohan. Number 8, LF17. Number 9, Rev UI. And number 10, the Tag 4s. What do you guys think of my top 10? And I'll see you guys in the next one.